Every property investor that you will ever meet and discuss with will tell you that their biggest fear is falling for scam or having their property demolished. Now, there's a reason for this. It's because the real estate market is such a big market that there are people who are in this market just to defraud people of their hard-earned money. Now, let's talk about real estate scams in Abuja because it has gotten so bad that it is almost out of hand. And we have to be informed with all the different ways that these people can try to scam innocent Nigerians, hardworking people that want to just invest and have some safety net for themselves. So we have to be aware of these ways so that we can protect ourselves against all these scams when we want to make our investments. I'm going to focus on three major types of formats of scam that I have seen repeatedly and I'm seeing people fall into day in, day out because it is more likely that you would come across these ones than the rest of them. Now, the very first one is in the FCT. Before 2025, a company can receive allocation for a land, get their R of O, and go keep it in their wardrobe and forget it for years without paying the statutory fees to get the C of O. But when the administration saw that this method was delaying the growth of the FCT, because a lot of developers or a lot of people are just getting their allocation and keeping it and waiting for more things to happen for the land or the value of the land to go up before they start selling and for people to start developing. The minister reviewed this and decided and made the policy that you must process your C of O. And that was for the older allocations. They had to process their C of O with a deadline, a final deadline of early last year. Now, people that do not meet this deadline, the rule is that they will lose that property for life. The land will be allocated to another company or another developer entirely. Now, during that period, a lot of people went back to pay the fees and process their C of O, and they got their C of O out. While some people were not interested in this at all. In fact, they just kept the old R of O and didn't bother to pay the fees and get the C of O out. Now, those same people whose land has already been revoked according to the law are now taking that same document and sending it to unsuspecting buyers, now selling that same land and allocating it to unsuspecting buyers who have now started building houses on that land. Now tell me, one day the new allottee that has received the allocation for this land, that has paid the C of O, that is now the legally recognized owner of this land, will want to move to site start development. And you know what they will do? They will go with bulldozers and pull down all those buildings. That was millions of naira of people's hard-earned money, some people's retirement fund, some people's emergency funds going down the drain with no way of recovering it unless they would take the company that sold it to them to the court. And we all know how court cases go in Nigeria. It can take years. Now, that is one major scam that is actively ongoing in the FCT. So before you buy land, the R of O is no longer enough. You cannot say, oh, they have R of O and it's FCD R of O and then you are good. No, you are not good. You must request the C of O. You have to see the C of O. If it's an old allocation, they must have already paid for the C of O and should be able to present you the C of O. Now, it's a fresh allocation of 2026. We can still say, okay, they might not be that fast for them to get the C of O, but they should at least have the evidence that they have paid. They should have the receipts that shows that they have paid for the C of O, right? And all they are waiting for is just the receipt to receive the physical copy of the C of O. At least that would give you some safety net that, okay, there's no issue of them losing that land in that case, and they have the right to sell to you. Now, the second one that I'm seeing, and this one is so rampant, is that there are some developers or companies who have gotten allocation for some special plots. Some of these plots are either zoned for agricultural purposes, they are zoned for like open area, green area, recreational centers that are meant to be open to the general public. And these developers decided on their own that they would convert this land use from what has been legally issued, what is in the system. If you go to urban and regional planning, what is the system is what is land has been zoned for, whether recreational area, whether agricultural area. And then these developers will now convert it on their own to a private residential project. They can start building houses there to sell to people, or they are cutting it into pieces and selling land to unsuspecting buyers who are now already building their own houses. In fact, some of them have even started moving into those houses, thinking that they have bought a property that has a C of O, because this one, they will send you the C of O. But if you don't know how to read through the fine print and actually read all those details, and see what the land is actually meant for, you will fall for this scam because you would believe that you have bought a land that has a C of O because it has the company's name, you can see the location, you can see, yes, this estate is real, and you buy, but you bought something wrong because the government would eventually look into these matters. And when they say that the land has been used for something completely different than what it has been allocated for, they would demolish it. And in fact, they can even go as far as completely revoking that land. Essentially, you'll be left with nothing. That's millions of naira, millions of hard-earned money lost because you missed a very critical process in your due diligence. Now, the third one that's most common, that is very, very difficult to guide against, but you can still prevent, is the issue of multiple sales. Now, there are some issues or cases where developers have allocation for like 2 hectares of land. And so when they start selling and they see that a lot of people are coming and buying, they can exhaust that 2 hectares of land and still continue to take payments from new customers for the same land that is already sold out. What they will now do is that they will take the people that have paid outrightly and are demanding allocation, take them to site and allocate them in the available land. And for the people that are paying in installments and waiting for when they'll finish their payments to go to get their land, those are the people that they usually use as scapegoats because all they need is your money. As your money is coming in, they are using your money to do business elsewhere. They are getting returns on your money. Meanwhile, you are thinking that you've secured the land and you're going to get allocated, but you're not going to get allocated. And by the time you find out and you start asking them, where is my land? Allocate me and everything. They'll start telling you stories. And you know what to come to? When you call your lawyer and start dragging cases, they will say, okay, we will refund you your money. But imagine you buy a land in January 2025 and you have paid for 6 months, 12 months, and now you're waiting for your allocation and they're telling you, we will refund you your money. Already the value of that money as at the time when you started paying is not the same thing as the value at the time they will refund you. The opportunity cost on that money cannot be bought back because they have used that money to make multiple folds of the same amount while you have nothing to show for the money that you have paid to them. So this one is really scary because you don't even know how to guide against it. But I will tell you one critical thing to do. The first thing is that whenever you're buying a property, always check the developer's track record. How long have they been in business? How many estates have they sold or delivered? What are the people saying about them? Because you will always find these details. That is why you cannot joke with working with professionals. Because while you think that you can handle things on your own, if you go to the company, you can buy directly. Sometimes the information from your realtor who is in the market and knows all the dirty secrets of the market can save you from that scam. And sometimes it can be your surveyor that you involve, that knows what is happening in the market, that will save you. And sometimes it is your lawyer who just reads through the fine print of the contract of sale that they give to you and say, there's something fishy about this document, that will save you. So before you proceed to make payment from any property, always make sure that you involve professionals because we will guide you through every part of the process to ensure that your investment is safe and secure. So there are multiple ways that scams or scammers are defrauding people of their hard-earned money in Nigeria, especially in Abuja. But these three ones are the most common ones that I have seen personally repeated over and over again. And there are so many of them that are actively ongoing that it's just a matter of time that before this nightmare is unleashed on the people that have keyed into those estates. Because I see them building day in, day out, and they don't even know that there is something waiting for them. Be careful out there when you want to go for investment, when you want to do real estate investment. Real estate is beautiful, it's fantastic. I will always encourage that to do real estate investment because it cannot do away with it if you want to really build wealth. But do it with carefulness. Do it with all your eyes open and borrow other people's eyes and ears to do your investments. All right. So let's keep this short and sweet. My name is Miriam Opolola Shribe. I am the CEO founder of Rol Realty. If you want to get it right with real estate investment in Abuja and in Lagos, then you should reach out and let us have a conversation. I hope that you found this video helpful and do well to share it with your loved ones because it will be saving somebody and somebody's children from years of pain and tears.